What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm finally going to be doing a react to the second portion of this video, Diagnosing Evildea, the mother tongue trap in dreaming Spanish. Now, why didn't I react to the second part of this video? Well, at the time when Stuart dropped this video, he was analyzing my different languages and he analyzed Spanish, and I was doing ALG, Automatic Language Growth, via Dreaming Spanish, the website and service. And part of their methodology is that you're not meant to do any type of analyzing of your own language abilities or anything like that. But I am no longer doing ALG, so I am curious to see what he has to say after all this time. Let's go. And also to give you guys a little bit of background, what he's going to be reacting to is the first time ever I attempted to speak Spanish, okay? Now, my Spanish has improved since this time, somewhat. How much? I don't know, okay? But this is the very, very first time ever. Let's just keep that in mind.
Is interesting and maybe is a good case for ALG. Okay, so now we're going to start with some Spanish. Now, I apologize there. My video processor is tanking, so sometimes the video isn't catching up because in Audition and then my recording and everything, crazy stuff is happening. But just listen. This is the native, I think, Argentinian Spanish speaker.
Perfecto.
Perfecto. Now, I can hear straight away when he's speaking Spanish, he's over-enunciating, and I think that's because Evildea is asked to start very easy. So let's listen to how he speaks.
Okay.
Actually, now let me zoom in here. I better explain this, by the way. This is what we call a spectrogram. So this is Adobe Audition. Here's the normal waveforms you'd be used to, but this is it's a voice print. So where you see the more yellow it is, that's the vocal tracks vibrating. That's down really low. And you can even see the notes here. I can click over so you can see notes, but basically this is the lowest part of your voice and this is the highest part of your voice. So where it's really yellow, it means the voice is engaged, activated, and the lower it is, the lower your voice, the higher it is, the higher your voice. So you can actually see here really well when the voice is activated, deactivated, when it tapers off, all of these things. And you might think that this is crazy going to this level of detail, but honestly, once you do that, you can actually start to self-correct. You pull up a native speaker, you pull up your own voice print and you think, oh, and you know exactly where to pinpoint things to get your muscles moving or turning off or glottal stops and all of that. You can just see it clear as day here. So let's have a listen.
Okay.
See, I was always curious about that with Spanish, like an R before an F, an R before a B. Does this R automatically become rolled? Because when he repeated after the Argentinian speaker, he actually rolled it. He went, perfecto, perfecto. But I didn't actually hear that from the Argentinian speaker, but maybe that's just the speed. Or maybe I didn't, I just didn't remember. But like, it is, like, I'm guessing there is a rule that governs this. I haven't looked into it yet.
Estoy pensando.
Okay. I didn't even get a second in. Did you hear that? So what happens in Spanish? The S will, you get this breathing, because a sibilants are these S-y sounds, they have this puff of air.
Estoy pensando, estoy pensando, estoy pensando, estoy pensando, estoy pensando.
Estoy. If you have your throat closed, you can't pronounce an S. You can't breathe. So estoy, by nature, S's have this breath, this aspiration. Okay. And what's happened is this aspiration in Spanish, and it happened in Chinese too. This is actually where the qu sheng came from. So originally Chinese didn't have tones. They had these endings, and this S became like an H first, and that's what became the qu sheng in Chinese. So estoy becomes estoy. Estoy. So sometimes you'll hear bits of the S, sometimes you'll just hear the S totally dropped out, and just like this sound.
So, estoy pensando. It was like, estoy pensando.
Have a listen. He says, estoy. See, it's almost like a lisp. Estoy. I wonder if Evildea will pick that up, will have picked it up in all of his listening, and whether it will be replicated or...
Like, I can hear him doing the S. Estoy pensando.
Or will his English or Esperanto S survive to live another day in
I'm guessing there's a clear difference in the S's then. I still haven't picked it up.
Spanish.
Pensando en hacer algunas preguntas.
So in hacer una pregunta, listen to the G, pregunta, it's very...
It sounded like then he was pronouncing it with the Spain Spanish, because there was like a TH sound in there. But obviously the Argentinian Spanish doesn't have that. It just becomes an S.
very soft.
Que son interesantes.
Que son interesantes. Now you can tell here he's being very, very careful to enunciate everything. It sounds, it's a native accent, but it's over enunciated. It is as if I'm speaking like this in English. That's a native Australian accent, but we don't really speak like that.
De responder.
Okay, this is fascinating. Have a look at this. Look at where he pronounced his D from. De.
Yeah.
Now, that could happen, but in Spanish, your D is more like this, the TH in the word the in English. So, de. And you will see it there, tongue coming up to the teeth. There. But what he's doing there, and maybe he's overcompensating because Evildea, he knows he's a native English speaker, and he's trying to pronounce it as a very clear D. It's still Spanish, but in normal speech, that would be de responder. And sometimes the S will turn into an H. Have a listen.
De responder.
It's very, very overpronounced.
I wonder if that's actually an issue, because obviously everyone I've listened to for over 1,000 hours is really overpronounced, both on the Dreaming Spanish and then obviously the gaming content I was watching and stuff. I wonder if constantly listening to all that over enunciated language might actually have had a bad impact on me.
Y me interesa saber la respuesta.
Now you can see the S is getting lighter.
Por ejemplo,
¿Cuál
es el...
Now, this is one thing I would notice. Have a listen to this. If you're a native English speaker in Evildea, you can do it. Say the word pill. Lip.
Pill, lip. Pill, lip. Okay.
Pill, lip. If you're a native English speaker, you'll notice that the L in pill, your tongue comes behind the teeth.
Pill.
And it kind of rolls up. Lip. If it's an initial L, your tongue is poking out of your teeth.
Wait, let me try that. Okay, so we've got pill. So my tongue is touching the top of the back of the teeth. Pill, lip. Lip. Pill, lip. Pill, lip. I'm not feeling anything different. Pill, lip. Pill, lip. Maybe I've just like suddenly tricked myself, but I'm not feeling any difference.
Pill, lip. Evildea, you're a native English speaker in Australia. I could almost guarantee, if subconsciously, don't try and just prove it wrong.
Okay, too late.
Just speak normally and get your mouth moving.
Okay, pill, lip. Nah, I can't do it now.
Normally, pill. Stop. Where's your tongue? It's behind the teeth. Lip. Where's your tongue? It's outside the teeth.
Lip. Oh, okay. Okay, I get what you're saying. So the sides of the tongue stick out just beyond the edges of the teeth.
But listen to the Spanish L. These are one of the things that I'll always try and pick up on in whatever language I'm learning, is where the L's and the R's coming from. El. And I can hear it is not the same as my pill L. Pill L. You can hear his...
So he's saying he can hear that there's a difference. I literally can't hear that there's a difference. This is fascinating.
Got this lateral tongue, and it's almost flat against his teeth. L. If you speak Russian, you've got this like the light L. It's closer to that, but it's not like the L that we have in English, especially in Australia. You can see his tongue.
Videojuego que más horas.
Okay. I can't pick up the difference between the L. I guess it's something I'm going to have to look into.
Tenés.
It's a good baseline, but I'm feeling like he's really over enunciating his Spanish. Now, there's another guy who's a native speaker that they go back and forth. Let's have a listen to him. Have a listen to his Spanish, even if you're not a Spanish speaker. And
Okay, so he's obviously... So for those who don't know, that's Chema from Juego con Juárez. So he's from mainland Spain.
see if you can hear any difference.
¿Qué es lo que más valoras?
¿Qué es lo que... So he still pronounces his S's and everything very clearly.
De una amistad.
Okay, now, did you hear that D?
De.
It was more of this, the, with the dental T, H with a voice. De. Very soft. De una amistad. De una amistad. And again, the T in amistad is a bit different too because it's this medial T. It's not an initial T, which changes in Spanish for native speakers.
De una amistad.
And you could hear the tongue at the end in the D. De una amistad. And his tongue came up to this dental D. It wasn't D. It was D.
Una amistad.
So it's almost like in a TH position, almost.
De una amistad. De un amigo. De una relación entre amigos.
Okay, so he's just repeated it there, but you can hear his accent is a little more natural rhythms to the first one. I'm sure as the first guy gets into normal speaking, he will become more normal as well. Yeah.
Australia es como la versión tercer mundo de Inglaterra.
What he says is funny. But have a listen to, this is the first guy again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Australia es como la versión tercer mundo de Inglaterra.
Tercera. But you can hear the T, tercera mundo. His tongue is starting to move closer to the teeth now.
Mundo de.
Now let's listen to the second guy.
¿Cuál es el mejor consejo que te han dado?
So it seems like the difference is the T in English is like it's just behind the top front teeth, but here the T in the Argentinian Spanish is what, touching more the teeth?
Okay, listen to that. This is starting to get very more natural compared to the first sentence.
¿Cuál es el mejor consejo que te han dado?
Especially at the end. Now, I don't know if Evildea even knows how to spell that last word, andado. But you can see that D almost just dropped out. Your tongue makes a reference to it, to the teeth. Te andado. So te andado. So your tongue's on the te, on the teeth, andado. And by the time it gets to the last D, it's just gone. If he's looking at the spelling, and a lot of like English speakers, andado, and they'll be pronounced.
Yeah, so I would be hitting both those D's exactly the same. I'd be like dado.
In this hard D. But you can see that as you get faster and faster, your tongue almost takes off and it's just sort of tickling the mouth but doesn't quite make it there. Que te andado.
¿Cuál es el mejor consejo que te han dado? ¿Cuál es el mejor consejo que te han dado?
Que te andado. Okay, so
Que te andado. No, I'm still hitting that D pretty strong though. Que te andado. Bro, I can't do this.
so you can see that's lost. If I were learning Spanish and I'd be tuned into that, this is why I'd want to actually read it as well, because I'd start to be able to map out if it's an initial, if it's medial, if it's at the end, when a thing's lost. Especially with something like Spanish or Italian, I want to start building up those structures because then that would help me and subconsciously kick in later as I'm speaking. I might know a word, but I know that pattern, and so it would already be in my muscles. So let's jump ahead now. So we've heard Evildea's English. We've heard the...
Okay, here we go. 14 minutes in, we've heard about all the differences with the Spanish sounds around the L, T, and D sounds. Now we're gonna finally hear how bad I am.
Two guys speaking Spanish. Let's listen quickly now to Evildea speaking Spanish.
Chamo Evildea.
Okay, so Chamo, as soon as you hear that, you know it's Argentinian. Argentinian Spanish, this ella turns, some people say ella in some versions of Spanish, or ella in Argentina, Uruguasha in Uruguay. So chiamo is chiamo. I am called. Chiamo in Italian.
Chiamo Evildea?
Now, you can see Evildea. He's got this very English Aussie D. And you can you...
Okay, so the D's the problem. We've all decided that the D's the problem. Okay, let's do this.
You hear this tick on it? D. By the way, if a D in, say, Vietnamese or Chinese or Thai, D actually came from an N. D. You don't hear that tick, but in Australian English, we'll say D. Spanish D is different. The. It's more like a TH in the word the. So, but he says Evildea. Maybe that's because he's...
Yeah, I'm just saying that in English. That's just where my word comes from. So it'd be like Evildea. Is that what we're meant to be doing? So it's like, it's a Evildea.
saying his name in an Aussie accent.
Yep.
Again, even his if it were me, even all those little subconscious words, I'd be trying to get the sounds of the native speaker.
Bro, I'm cooked on the R. I didn't even get past my name. I'm literally just cooked on the R. Okay, well, if this is Chinese, you'd be like, nega. Into
it. So when we're coaching like presentation workshops in, say, Thai or whatever, we would call them word whiskers. And Thai has their own word, ala yang ya, or in Chinese or Indonesian. In Australia, we have like these kinds of words. Learn those in your target language and throw them in so they become your filler words.
I didn't even think about filler, I wasn't actually thinking about learning the language at the time, so that's why I didn't think about it. But it makes sense that Spanish has probably got its own version of filler words, and I've probably heard them countless times. I just never recognized them.
Sure.
Oh, you're not going to tell me what the filler word was? Oh, come on. Okay.
Sure. Now, the O isn't fully Aussie, but you can tell that it's heavily influenced from the Aussie O, not real Spanish O.
Quieres.
Okay, yo quieres. Okay, yo quiero. I suspect, having just briefly dabbled with Esperanto, that the standard non-conjugated S at the end of verbs has jumped in here. Maybe you've heard quieres.
That's what happened. I can tell straight away. That is definitely what happened.
Quieres, do you want to go? And then you're adding that on. So, yo quiero. Maybe you haven't learned those conjugations yet.
No, I hadn't at that time. I didn't know what the conjugations were. Obviously, I do know them now. Like, I know the first person present tense one and, some past tense ones. And, I can recognize most of the basic ones right now, but I haven't automated them. But, obviously that's quiero now.
I suspect not, because you've been doing ALG. But that, if you had have been doing the structures, you wouldn't have made that mistake, I'm sure. Yo quiero, I want to. Instead of quieres, which yo quieres, I, and then it's like syntax error because quieres is you want.
Jugar.
Okay, jugar. Now, notice the H there in it should be jugar. The H was an Aussie H, and G was pretty much an Aussie G. The G in Spanish is a lot.
So I got the whole word wrong, basically.
Softer, jugar. And now again, I'm not a native Spanish speaker. I've lived with Spanish around me for years, but I'm not a native Spanish speaker. But, the sounds are in me, and they're in at fairly early ages, in my teens. So you get to feel them. But this jugar, it's softer.
Jugar. Okay.
It's not an H like we have. Jugar. Okay. It's jugar.
Sure quieres.
Sure quieres. Okay, so that's again quieres, but I think that's coming from Esperanto.
Jugar.
Jugar. Can you see that g? It's a really hard G.
Juego con tú.
Okay, I heard the h in there. That was awesome. Contigo, not con tú, but tigo. Again, kudos to Evildea because he's just been doing this from absorbing the language and hasn't gone through any of these charts. So, he's pulling out the words that he knows. And this is 1,000 hours actually starting to speak for the first time. It's almost like hatching out of the egg. So, contigo.
Contigo.
There you go.
Contigo?
Okay. He said contigo, contigo, contigo. Listen to the difference between the T and the G from the native speaker and the T and the G in tigo from Evildea.
Contigo.
Contigo?
Contigo.
Contigo?
Contigo.
Contigo?
Okay, actually, what I'm going to do is really blow that up. Contigo. Let's have a look.
Contigo. 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 Contigo.
No, let him speak there.
Contigo. Contigo.
You can't even hear the G.
Contigo. Contigo.
Contigo? Contigo? Yeah, he's not really hitting, is he? He's like, contigo? 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 Even I'm still hitting hard.
Contigo. Contigo.
Contigo. And you can see it's actually almost it's an unaspirated contigo. Contigo. Okay, your tongue's at the back is kind of making it to the G, but not quite. Contigo. Now listen to Evildea.
Contigo? Tigo? 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 Tigo?
Tigo? Tigo. You can hear a really hard G there. So I'm sure you might have seen this word spelt, knows it's a G, but it's actually contigo, that it's soft.
Yeah, you see that word written all the time.
Just with a few sounds, a few sentences, you see how long this can take. But just with a few little tweaks, you can have a night and day change to the way that you speak the language. It's muscle training. Maybe we'll do just one more.
Muchos gracias.
Okay, that's interesting. Muchos gracias.
Muchos gracias.
I think at that time, I had, obviously I'd been primarily focused on Argentinian Spanish, but then as of recently, in regards to when this video was made, I started doing a lot of stuff with Chema here. And the way that word is pronounced between Argentine, whatever. Okay. And Spain is different. So it was kind of like this weird merger between the two.
Okay. I suspect maybe he's heard Italian before, grazie. Because I don't think that in Esperanto, I think the word for thank you is more from a Germanic root.
It is. It's dankon.
Something like danko or something.
Yep, he got it.
But gracias, and gracias.
I'm pretty sure it was just me merging two different accents and then probably just screwing it halfway through. That's pretty much it. Also, so C in Esperanto is a TS sound. It's like a it's like Chinese C, okay? And it's possible that I'd seen this word written before and my brain automatically assumed it was something similar to Esperanto, like the pronunciation of the C. I don't know.
But you can hear the hard G again.
Muchos gracias.
And not only can you hear the hard G, have a look at that voice. Can you see this portion here? His voice fully just stops. He's got a glottal stop there. So grazie, almost like the Z in Italian, but it's not that in Spanish. Gracias. Okay, gracias. But you won't see this big gap in a native speaker saying thank you in Spanish.
I think that kind of gap happened because when I was saying the word, I might have actually stopped myself and kind of just mentally tried to redo you know how when you say a word and it comes out, you're not too sure, you stop for a millionth of a second, but you just keep going anyway? It's like your brain's like, wait, whatever. That was probably what happened there.
And so, having to wrap this up because it's gone on for a long time now, there is value to having this auditory intelligence, understanding how sounds work, how the muscles in your mouth work, being able to hear sounds outside of the baseline of your mother tongue and then reproduce it. Tools like this is Adobe Audition.
What I actually find most interesting about this analysis right now is the fact that as of recently, I've been doing more and more Spanish on my channel, and people have commented about my vowels, like the I vowel, and I think a lot of people are about the I vowel. They'll be like, oh, your I doesn't sound quite right. You need to work on that one. And then to a lesser degree, the O and the U. Okay, that's what pretty much everyone is focused on. He has completely ignored the vowels and gone straight after like the T, the D's, and the G's. Sounds that I never even imagined that I was getting wrong. So it sounds like if I get a couple of those vowels and just slightly change them, get them cleaned up, and then focus in on this, that might actually bring me more closer. But the problem is, even though he's explained it, I still don't know what the differences are. So I'm literally gonna have to go like watch a ton of videos on just these like specific sounds.
There's prot. Prot, it's a Dutch word, but linguists use it. It's a free version, and I think there are other tools out there that you can use that are open source for doing these spectral prints. But once you start to understand it, it's really, really good. You can train your muscles. It's like having a mirror there. And then once you do it, you get a real native speaker then to use their ears as the mirror again. And as you go back and forth and they'll suggest something, maybe they don't know how to actually coach you. They just think you sound like a foreigner, you sound like a gringo, if it's Spanish or...
I might have to actually put my production practice for Spanish temporarily on hold and really just focus in on cleaning these things up now before it gets too far down the road, because it sounds like I've got a lot of sounds that are really far off. And I thought it was just some vowels that needed cleaning up. I didn't realize it was like this bad.
好像是老外 if you're in Chinese. But you just do it until you stop getting those 老外 or gringo kind of looks and people just speak to you normally. I think you probably get less of those looks in Western languages because you get people from all over speaking them, but especially in Asian languages, if you're just a little bit off, they'll let you know once you're beyond that.
That's true. You will know pretty quickly. They'll point it out.
Beginner stage. So anyway, I hope this has been interesting. I hope you don't mind, Evildea. I just hit you up on Discord just to check if this was okay. But it'd be really cool to do something together where we sort of sit and go back and forth there. Maybe I can get you pronouncing some stuff in Thai.
Okay. Oh, what was that?
And other languages as well, not just Chinese. But getting that full command of your mouth but even more importantly, hearing where your baseline is and what those things are in your mother tongue.
Okay, I'm going to have to organize some type of video with you, Stuart, where for one, you help me with the Spanish. We get the Spanish sorted, and then maybe we could talk about the Thai, you know? Like, I'm not against it. I really want to be learning another insanely difficult language, but you know... It's a possibility. It is a possibility. Anyway, if you guys have enjoyed this video, let me know down in the comment section. I'll see you all in the next video. Make sure you sub, and if you're not there, I will find you, and I will analyze every little tongue movement you make by holding your mouth wide open.